you think life is simpler as time evolves, for some, it can be more complicated when facing issues about health, estate plans, probate, long-term care, and more. That's why attorney CPA Joe Cordell hosts ElderTalk with TuckerAllen, providing intelligent answers for those thinking about their future. Welcome to another episode of ElderTalk. I'm Jill Enders. Joe Cordell isn't with us, taking some much-deserved time off, but I'm so happy today we are doing our notable senior segment, and with us today is none other than Miss Senior Missouri Carolyn Schlueter and also Susan Pellegrino, who's the producer of the pageant. Ladies, welcome to the ElderTalk show. So great to have you here.
Thank you.
And so I want to start out with you first, Carolyn. Okay. You and I talked on the phone prior to this podcast, told me this really wonderful story about what motivated you to enter the pageant. Your 106-year-old friend, and I want to emphasize 106 years old.
And a half.
And a half. Okay, got to get that half in.
Yes. Yes, her name is Virginia Leitner, and I hope at some point you'll be able to interview her on for your show.
I would love that. Yeah,
she's amazing. She's an amazing woman and an inspiration to everybody that she meets and that meets her. Yeah. And, I played piano at a retirement center where she used to live when she was in her 90s. And
only in her 90s, right?
Only in her 90s, early 90s,
early
yes.
90s, yes.
And she would always pass out. That was her job. She designated herself to pass out all the songbooks for the sing-alongs. And when somebody came in and they needed a chair, she would be the one that would get up and carry a chair over to where they could sit. But anyhow, she was always a fan of mine. And she says, Carolyn, she says, you just have to enter this pageant because I know you're going to win. You're so good.
And I do want to add that Virginia did the pageant when she was 102.
Yes.
102.
Yes, so she did the pageant 4 years ago. So she's one of our newer members, but she did it at 102.
Even
yes. And for her talent, she demonstrated her paintings.
Her paintings?
Yes, she's very talented.
Yes, yes.
I'd like to know what her secret is to longevity.
You can get her on the show and ask her.
I'm definitely going to get her on the show. You mark my words. Yes.
Yes. She even started a,
She started an Optimist Club.
Club, yeah, at where she lives, because she says these old people. She says they don't have anybody to talk to about their problems or what's going on in their life. And she said at the Optimist Club, there's a group of us, and they just thank me for getting together because we talk about what's going on in our lives or things that have hurt us in the past, and it stays within our group, and people just feel so much better after they express themselves.
Right.
So she's still carrying on 100%, sharp as a tack.
That's amazing. So she talked you into the pageant.
Yes.
Were you open to it initially, or?
After a while, yeah. After her persistence,
I was going to say, she must be persistent, right? That's what it sounds like.
Yes, and very direct.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And a love, yes.
Now, when you were younger, did you ever participate in pageants?
No, this is the first pageant I've ever participated in.
Okay. So what was that like?
It was wonderful. I think the best part was meeting the other ladies, the competitors, and also the ladies in the pageant, because it's such a nice group of people and everybody gets along, and you make new friends. So that was the best part.
Because you hear so often about pageants where the women are very competitive with each other and often catty. So you didn't have any of that?
None whatsoever, no. And I didn't feel there was competitiveness among us at all.
The goal, especially as a producer, what I enjoy, because believe me, I didn't want to do the pageant either. I was like, do a pageant? You got to be kidding me. I was in it back in 2014, and I've been the producer since 16. And I do have an assistant. I need to put a plug in for Helene Siegfried. She's my right-hand woman.
Helene.
Yeah,
okay.
Without Helene, I would be nothing. But anyway, I enjoy talking to women because they think by 60, you have to be 60 or older to be in the pageant. And obviously there's no top age.
Yeah, if
you can be
102,
102. You can be 104.
right.
So you can be any age over 60. And I have found women really mature and grow, even doing the pageant later in life. And I think that's what Carolyn's trying to say. We weren't catty. We weren't trying to outdo each other. And as producers and other ladies in the club, we want every single contestant to feel like she's the best person she can be at that moment.
It's a lot of unity, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nice.
Yeah. Now, your crowning moment wasn't the typical crowning moment. You were actually crowned first runner-up, and then COVID hit in 2020, no pageant. So talk about that.
Well, I've got a promotion.
Yes, you did.
What can I say? Because of the COVID, we didn't have a pageant, so the Senior America officials decided it was time to move things around. So everyone, all the contestants that were first runner-up became queen. We got a promotion to queen, and that's how this happened.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, does this mean you go on to Miss Senior America, which is going to be held virtual?
It's in the process of being held. We've already submitted the application. What we had to do was send in clips of her doing her talent, doing her gown walk, doing her philosophy of life. And they've already shown those from the ladies who submitted an application. But the finals are August 22nd. That's when they will announce the top 10 and then the winners.
I imagine that was so disappointing last year. You know, so many events were canceled.
Yes.
And to have this one canceled. And then this year it's modified.
Right.
Where it's virtual. I mean, I imagine that's probably pretty
It's been tough.
challenging.
And we had to cancel ours again. We decided, so we have not had a pageant since 19. We canceled our live pageant. We hold it at the Florissant Civic Center. And we had to cancel 20 and 21. So we're keeping fingers crossed. May 1st, 2022, we're going to have our pageant.
Yes.
So the clubs were around the country. You could promote your first runner-up, which is what we decided to do. There's some who went ahead and decided to brave COVID and hold a small pageant, which we didn't think was a wise idea. Or you could just pick someone and send in virtual clips that met the qualifications.
So
each state really had the option, but we just went, there's no way we're holding a virtual pageant. I did not want to bring any new women into the organization without them having the benefit of going through the live pageant.
Right, missing that experience.
Exactly.
I can understand that. And I'm sure that's just an experience you'll remember forever.
Yes. Yes. Very pleasant one.
I bet. And now how long, is it like a weekend-long event or a week-long event?
Well, it's actually one day, the day of the pageant, but then we rehearse the day before. And but everything happens the day of the pageant.
Okay.
Yeah, the judging happens that morning. We have a, 5 or 7 minute interview with 5 judges.
So what questions do they ask you? I have to ask. Please tell me no world peace questions.
No.
I'm kidding.
Everything was going fine, and then this lady judge, she says, "Now, Carolyn, you remember Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs?" And I said, "Yes."
So you had no idea beforehand of what
No.
type of questions.
No.
Okay, so
No.
you're
Yeah. So all the other questions were just normal questions, no problem. And she says, "If you were Snow White, what would your new dwarf name be?" And I was like stumped for an answer.
Did you say nude?
New.
Oh, new. I thought you said nude. I'm like, okay.
Oh, no. I could have, but I didn't.
Yeah. Nude. Okay.
What would your new dwarf name be? And I was like stumped for an answer. And I said, well, I know there's Happy. And the other judge came to my rescue and he says, you could be Happy number 2. And I said, that's me. I'm Happy number 2.
Good answer.
Wow.
He saved the day for me.
Oh, I'd like to know which judge asked you that one. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Completely off the
You
wall.
handled it all. Okay. And you played the piano for your talent competition? Okay. So what was it like right before the show started? Were you a bundle of nerves or were you relaxed? I mean, I would just think I would be a bundle of nerves.
I thought I might be too, but I wasn't. Totally relaxed because I didn't care if I didn't go into a win or anything like that. I just went in to compete and have fun. And maybe that was part of it. I don't know. But I was completely relaxed through the whole day.
That's
Surprised me too.
That's wonderful. How many ladies usually compete every year?
It varies. We've had as few as 7 and as many as 14. But an ideal pageant is 10 because it runs from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, and we just don't want it too long for either the contestants or the audience. Because the first thing is to give the women a wonderful experience. Goal number 2 is to entertain the audience. And you don't want to put them to sleep.
Right.
So, or bore them to death. And it could get really long. And you have to put in some other people talking, people entertaining, something in between, because ladies have to go change. They get out of their evening gown to get in their talent, and then they get out of that talent outfit to get back in the evening gown. So you have to kill time in between. And you want to make it interesting. You don't want to make it too long.
So you were a contestant back in 2014, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Has the pageant changed at all? I know it hasn't been that long ago.
Not really. Helene and I have made a few changes, but I think from an audience perspective, probably doesn't look like it. It's pretty seamless. The ladies that have come before me have done such an outstanding job. And I am happy to say whenever we have the Senior America come in as our guest, they say, this is one of the best pageants in the entire country. I'm like,
wow.
Yes. So we've tried to hold up that reputation of really putting on a really nice production.
And where do you normally hold this pageant?
We hold it
venue?
up. We hold it at the Florissant Civic Center.
I know that place. I'm
Yes.
from North County.
Yes. I was a North County resident for 30 years, and the whole time I lived up there, I had never heard of the Missouri Senior Pageant. But of course, in my 30s and 40s, I wasn't looking for a senior pageant. I wasn't even looking for a senior pageant.
What area did you live?
I was in unincorporated North County.
Okay. I'm from Bell Fountain Neighbors.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, fellow NoCo. No wonder I
There
like
you go. There you go.
Now, Carolyn, competing you're no stranger to it because you've done swing dancing competitions.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I think those were the best years of my significant other in our lives because it was so much fun. We were a lot thinner. We were a lot thinner than we both are now because we would swing dance 3-4 nights a week, and it's wonderful exercise.
Was it at the, what was that? The Casa Loma Ballroom?
Somewhere there. And we belonged to a West County Swing Club and Southside Swing Dance Club. So we had local competitions and dances every week, almost every night of the week from one place to the other.
Well, I remember the company I used to work for, we would have our Christmas parties there at the Casa Loma. And the young people that were really into swing dancing. We saw a lot of teenagers, 20-something-year-olds, participating in that. And that was really something to see.
Yes.
So, and you've won competitions for that?
Yes, yes. And we traveled all over the country. We went to Dallas and Kansas City, Michigan, Atlanta, and so forth, and competitions. My partner was the best swing dancer in the whole St. Louis area.
Is that right?
And his name is Don Fitch, if I can mention his name.
Of course you can.
Yes, and so he always made me look good because I was pretty much of a complete novice yet when he asked me to dance. In fact, I was watching the dancers, and he came up to me and he says, he came up towards me and he says, "Would you like to dance?" And I looked around. I really did. And I said, "Are you talking to me?" And he said, "Yes." And that's how it all started.
Was it love at first sight, you think?
Yes.
Okay. And it all began with a dance.
Yes.
I love it. That's so
Yes.
romantic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Now, you went to Miss Hickey's school. Are they even around anymore?
I don't know. That's been many, many, many moons ago,
Right.
back in the 50s. So, and at that time, it was very, it was the business school to go to. And we had
yeah.
We had to do 200 pages of shorthand every night for homework and typing. And I was very good at what I did because I loved, being typing and the shorthand. So that came easy for me.
And you were the secretary for
Gussie Bush.
Gussie Bush. Wow.
August A. Bush Jr.
What was that like?
Well, it was
Because I heard
exciting.
he was a lot of fun.
He was, yes. He was a wonderful man to work for. Always very gracious and polite. But I did learn a few new words while I was working for him.
Yes, I heard a little bit about the language. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it was a great job, and I didn't realize how plush and everything it was. I mean, I did, but not at the time. What a wonderful job I had. So I was his secretary until he retired.
And how long ago was that?
1972.
And did you continue working after that?
Yes, but not for Anheuser-Busch.
Okay. What did you do after that?
Secretary for different art companies, and I wound up being a medical proofreader.
A medical proofreader.
Boy, that'd be tough.
That would be.
It's very boring.
Learning all those medical terms.
Yes,
and
I could spell every one of them and hyphenate every one, but I didn't know what they meant.
Yeah. Well, as long as you could spell it, hey,
Yeah.
Okay, on a more serious note, 3-time cancer survivor, and I can only imagine what that must have been like, the challenges, going through something like that once had to be really, really tough. But you went through it 3 times.
3 times.
Tells me you're a pretty tough lady.
Yes.
How did you get through? I mean, really, how did you get through that?
One day at a time. Sometimes 1 hour at a time. Having a positive attitude made all the difference in the world, and my faith in God.
Amen.
And just, yes. And if I'd be having a really tough day, some days were like that, you didn't even feel like getting out of bed or doing anything, I would just say, "Yay, that means the chemo's working and it's killing the cancer." And that attitude would get me through the day and the pain and everything. And I, one day at a time.
How long ago was that with your first battle with cancer?
I think 2016 for the first one and 2018 for the last one.
Okay. So you've been cancer-free.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes. So far, so good.
Now, I know we probably have some of those who are viewing this podcast that, may have had a recent cancer diagnosis or they're battling cancer right now and having a tough time. What would you want to say to them?
I think I would first want to give them a hug.
Aw.
Because they probably need it, even with COVID, going on.
Sure.
And support and let them know that you're really there for them, not just in word only, but, for real. And call anytime, day or night, if I can help, go through whatever's going on or what concerns you have. And I think just take it one day at a time. And keep your faith and keep that positive attitude, and you'll get through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Very, very good advice. Let's talk about the crown. I love it.
Thank
It's
you.
gorgeous. I mean, do you feel like a queen every time you wear it?
Yes. I have to say yes.
Do you have your friends, family ask to try it on? To borrow it?
Yes.
What do you say to them? Are you allowed to?
We don't know what goes on. It's like, sure, if you put it on your dog and it doesn't break and you take it back off, we won't know. Yeah,
I probably would do something like that. Yeah.
Just momentarily, but that's it. No pictures, just a moment. I need it back. Yes.
So now you get to keep this crown?
Yes.
Even okay.
But I can only officially wear it as it is with the diamonds.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes.
with the white stones in it until May the 1st when I crown the new queen, and then these have to be either changed to these 5 larger stones have to be changed to rubies, or either by a new crown.
Okay.
That's the rules and regulations.
Now, the Miss Senior America pageant, that happens in August, correct?
Correct. Up until, 2 years ago, of course, it was canceled completely in 2020. And again, they were like, okay, we need to move forward. So this year they're having a virtual pageant. Before the hit, we used to go up to Atlantic City the middle of October. For the Senior America pageant.
Sure.
And that was a wonderful trip. That was quite the experience.
I bet.
To go up there and take your queen. And there's, all kinds of dinners and preliminaries and then the finals. But this year, they're doing it virtually. And you had to submit clips of your queen's talent and her gown walk and her philosophy of life, which, by the way, you have to recite your philosophy of life in 35 seconds or less. And that to me is difficult to try to, because the first time I tried it was like 55 seconds long. I went, oh, that's too wordy, because it feels like by the time you reach this age, you have a lot to say.
Sure.
And it's not your bio. It's not what you've accomplished. It's how you feel. Like Carolyn emphasized her positive attitude. Our queen that was 2016 who went on to be the National Senior America Queen, which we're really proud of.
That is.
Her big thing was it's never too late. And she built that around her philosophy that you can, no matter how old you get, you can always do something new. It's never too late to try something new. So you find that one thing that speaks to you as a person and you build on that, but you only have 35 seconds to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of restricted.
It is.
And is the bookmark that you created, is this what you're referring to?
That was the last part of my philosophy, yes.
Okay. And you designed this?
Yes, I did.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. So when will they decide on Miss Senior America, which I'm rooting for Carolyn?
Thank you.
Well, we are too.
Thank you.
Of course.
Of course. But August 22nd.
August 22nd.
Yeah.
They will.
And what it'll be is it'll be over Zoom. They've already shown the preliminaries. This year there were 28 ladies. There's usually 40 ladies that'll show up at Atlantic City, but I think it was hard to get ladies to want to do this virtual pageant. Like I said, it's a whole lot different just sending in video clips than it is to actually be on that stage performing. So yeah, but they got 28 ladies, I believe, that did send in their clips. And then the judges are reviewing those.
So
and
each state won't be represented then?
No, and it never is. There are cameo clubs. We're called cameo clubs in different states. Some states don't have them. And we're basically a nonprofit charitable organization. We, when COVID wasn't around, we would go to nursing homes, senior living facilities, veterans homes, and we'd put on shows. And that's why we do talents, because we were trying to find piano players, singers, dancers, people who can tell jokes, whatever. And then we have a showcase chair that puts those together for an hour show, and we go and we entertain. And then we get paid for doing that. And 80% of the money we make, we donate back to local charities at the end of the year.
And what type of charities?
Oh, we've given to, a lot of women's shelters, food pantries.
Caring Solutions.
Yeah.
So giving back.
Ovarian cancer, yeah.
Right.
We give back.
Right.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And we try
I'd
to
say
keep
so.
it locally, and we try to keep it not the bigger charities that get a lot of money, but some of
correct.
The
ones that aren't as well known, that may not be getting as much public attention. Sure. So you're from Freeburg.
Yes.
Okay. So what brought you all the way up here to the big city?
Well, I always decided that I always wanted to be a secretary. I won a musical scholarship to Millikan in Decatur, but I thought, what would I do with music, for working profession? So anyhow, I graduated on the 1st of June, and the 3rd of June I moved to St. Louis and began secretarial school.
Okay. And so you're a young girl, about what?
16.
16.
17 when I graduated. And I had to get a work permit to go to work at Anheuser-Busch.
You were brave. You were. Well,
She is. She is
a gutsy
trooper.
lady.
Yes.
Nothing stops her.
No.
Right.
Yeah. So, what did your parents think?
Well, they were happy. I think they were happy I chose that profession.
But I mean, you leaving to go,
Well-
from Freeburg all the way to St. Louis. I mean,
Yeah.
that was huge.
Yeah.
Were they concerned?
Oh, of course. Yeah. But they were always glad to see me when I came home.
I bet they were. I bet they were.
Yeah.
So, and you've pursued a number of different hobbies. Photography's one of them.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
Since I was yay high. Well, that's however yay high is.
Yay high. Okay.
Many, many years. And I always thought, I've never taken lessons or anything like that. And so I thought, well, when I take a picture and it's perfectly centered, boy, that's a great picture. But in 2009, I joined the St. Louis Camera Club, and my life has changed ever since then. And I've taken lessons and learned hopefully what makes a good photograph, composition and
Sure.
no clutter in the background and so forth and so on. So,
And you brought this beautiful photograph, and we've got to get a
I
good
think-
shot of that.
should we call him Kermie?
I love it. And you have it frog on a lazy afternoon.
Yes.
I love it. Beautiful picture.
Thank you.
Tell me you didn't pick him up, though.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Just
No.
took his picture, and she won an award for that picture.
That's
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, so
That's-
I love doing photography.
Well, you're certainly very talented. So what do you do to relax?
Photography,
Photography and
Yes.
painting.
Photography, painting, playing piano. Piano is very relaxing to play. And I don't have a lot of spare time. And
No,
doesn't
she
sound
doesn't.
like it.
and
She's
my
very
life-
busy.
Yeah, and my life is fuller since I'm Miss Missouri
yes, it
Senior
is. We
America.
keep her busy.
But it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's all good.
So since she became Miss Missouri, Miss Senior Missouri, do you have to make public appearances on a regular basis? How does that work? And especially, with COVID, I mean, how did that play out?
We, she's already done a parade. She did a 4th of July parade, so that's fun.
Awesome.
That was fun.
And with COVID, that's fine. You're outside, you're in fresh air, whatever. But we always get invited to the senior days at the state fair, and we turned it down. Last year, the senior days was canceled because
Sure.
of COVID. This year, they're putting it on, but I went, Carolyn, we are not taking you down to Sedalia for the fair.
And I was fine with that.
Because I just said COVID is just raging down there. Enough people aren't vaccinated down there. It's just not worth it.
Yes.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
wasn't worth it. But normally that's the kind of thing we would be having Carolyn do. When we have our meetings, we meet the first Thursday. Matter of fact, tomorrow we're having a picnic.
Yes.
And because we
Ooh.
thought we'd just be outside. Most of us are vaccinated, but still we're sort of like, okay, we need to watch it.
Right.
Carolyn will show up with her crown and her
Yes.
banner on, and she'll let us know what she's been up to. She'll give the Queen's report, but
And if Judy brings her keyboard, we may play
the
Play
piano.
piano for a
Oh.
few minutes.
unfortunately, COVID's really put a dent into
Yeah.
our activities because we normally we were doing 25 to 30 showcases a year.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, and we were already planning some fall ones that we've had to cancel because of the Delta variant already
Yeah.
starting to skyrocket. And we're like, oh, darn, just when we were getting going again,
Yes,
they put
I
the brakes
know.
on.
I know.
So Carolyn would normally show up to all those and give the little talk of who we are and why we're there to put a show on.
And those shows are wonderful to attend. We even at the History Museum, perform
Yes.
at the History Museum.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes. hmm
Okay.
Yeah.
They're wonderful hour, sometimes longer than an hour, but it's very professional because everybody has performed in the pageant, and it's a wonderful entertainment for the residents.
So, it seems like you've kept up a positive attitude, even though COVID has dampened.
Oh, yes. hmm
We've
really-
certainly been trying. It's frustrating that we can't get out and do what we love doing the most, but
Right.
it's just, and we've had meetings over Zoom. We've had to learn to just meet over Zoom a lot of times, and that's why it's like, it's a nice day, let's get outside. So we're going to have our little picnic tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, after the pageant, have you thought about following in Susan's steps of getting involved in the pageant behind the scenes?
Probably. I will probably do something. I'll probably take a little sabbatical and just kind of rest for a little bit.
I can
just have some little
imagine.
private time. But then I'm sure I'll do something, with the pageant.
Okay.
It's amazing how many
Keep
ladies
active.
it takes to put on the pageant. And
Yes.
we do that all ourselves. And I'd say a majority of the women, even though we say you have to be over 60, majority of the ladies are well into their 70s and 80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever have any men working on the show?
We have our MC, who, Randy Gardner, some people might know him from radio and TV. He's been our MC for a number of years now, since I think about 2013.
Okay.
And a couple of men that are husbands of ladies are our escorts at the end. They come out and escort the ladies
Oh,
carrying
okay.
a rose for their
Lovely.
final appearance.
I love it.
And then we'll have a little help sometimes on decoration day. Some of the husbands will come and help us put up this, that, or the other that might be a little bit too much for us. But basically, we do all the work.
Do it all.
And again, neither one of you participated in pageants when you were real young.
No.
No.
I had to
Never,
really
ever.
be talked into doing this. It took about 3 years, and I was taking tap dancing lessons from a lovely lady named Marcine Tachman, and she was our queen in 1999. She was stage director with her best buddy, Pat Bruder, for years and years, and she kept saying, Susan, you have to do the pageant. I go, no. And they do this wonderful synchronized tambourine number at the end. I go, I just want a tambourine. That's all I want. And I said, can I just audition? No, you have to be in the pageant. If you're going to be in the club, you have to be in the pageant. I was like, okay. So I did. And
it changed
it was
your
a
mind.
it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And honestly, then 2 years later, I was the co-producer and just love doing it.
She does a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks.
Behind the scenes, people have no idea what it takes just to get enrolled with the Zoom, because this is all new for
Yeah.
the Zoom people too, as well as us here. And we spent several hours just getting the entry form in.
Yeah, we
because
did.
it was all had to be done
Sure.
on the computer.
Yeah.
She did
So
a great
we did.
job.
Well, what would you tell those who are viewing this podcast, senior ladies, about participating in this pageant? That maybe are thinking, no, I wouldn't be good at that, or I don't have the confidence.
I talk to a lot of women like that, because people will say, okay, give me names. You have friends, you have acquaintances. We will put out in local publications, call for contestants. We'll probably do that in October. And I'll talk to ladies, I don't have any talent. I said, oh, you might. I said, start talking to me. And
you search for that talent.
Oh, I do. And I've seen women just blossom. We've had one lady that was just so shy, and she said, I'm doing this to try to get over my fright. I've never spoken in front of people ever.
The stage fright, sure.
Yeah, and then after that, she went on to be in Toastmasters, and she gives speeches all the time now.
Isn't that something?
And it was wonderful. I just watched her grow, because the night before she was like, I'm not going to do this. I go, well, I'm not giving you your money back. So yeah, you are going to do this.
So what type of talents? I mean, it can be, it doesn't have to just be singing, dancing,
No.
playing a musical instrument. It could be something like photography, you said.
We had ladies show their paintings, show their photography. We have one lady who's incredibly talented. She sketched while she created a portrait of a lady to music. And we've had people write a poem and recite their poem. This lady I was talking to you about that was like, oh, I can't do this. She was a nurse, an ER nurse for 35, 40 years. So she had more stories to tell. And so she kind of made a comedy routine. She literally brought the house down. She was
I
hilarious.
could see how that could work.
So so we've had women, there's, a lot of singing and dancing and playing musical instruments, but
So it doesn't have to be
but
what's
it does not
typical.
what you think of as talent.
Talent, right.
Right.
Right. Okay. So if someone wanted to enroll in this contest, how can they do it?
Get a hold of me.
Get a hold of
Yes,
Get a hold of
right.
Susan. Call Susan.
Call
She's
me,
the lady.
email me. Yes.
Okay. And there's a website, and we can put
Yes.
that up.
Yes, I have an email address for the pageant. We have a website you can visit, and I even bravely give out my cell phone number. I know.
You are brave.
I know. But
do you ever get any prank phone calls or anything like that?
Oh, I've had some interesting phone calls, actually, a couple from some men. I want to be in the pageant. And I said, no. He said, well, you're discriminating. I said, well, start your own pageant. have a Mr. Missouri senior pageant.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
Really?
Yes.
How often does that happen?
It's only happened a couple times.
Couple times?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
But
funny.
I
funny.
do love the ones that I get from men going, my wife is so beautiful. She needs to be in this talent.
Now, that's a good husband.
Now that I love. And then I get her on the phone. I don't know why he called you. And then I go, well, talk to me,
Yeah.
And some I can convince and some I can't. But
Sounds like it's part therapy for, you're playing the part of a therapist in a way. To draw
maybe.
them out.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some, I'm persistent until they tell me flat out, don't ever call me again. But there was somebody, I literally called her 3 times. And a few years ago, she went on to be the queen. She said, I am so glad you were persistent.
I bet she was. If she, yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you met Carolyn, when she
Oh,
entered
my
the pageant?
gosh. Yeah.
Were you guys fast friends or what?
Oh, it's
Yes.
just, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
it's hard not to fall in love with Carolyn the first time you meet her. I mean,
Well, yeah, look at that smile. It
I
lights
know,
up the room.
I know, it's infectious.
Yes. Perfect beauty queen smile.
It is.
Yes. And you
I don't
too.
have one. No,
No,
that's
you
why
do.
I was second runner-up. Yes, but I was Miss Congeniality too. So
Oh, okay. Just like Sandra Bullock.
there you go.
One of my favorite movies.
Yes,
Yes, I love that
Except I don't
movie.
carry a gun, so
Yeah.
you're good.
Okay, well, ladies, we are about out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a wonderful, wonderful experience having you both on, and we'll hope to have you back.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you inviting us.
Yes, very
and
much.
we will have to bring Virginia.
Yes, we'll
I
bring
want Virginia back.
Yes.
I want Virginia.
Yes.
So I am rooting for you for the
Thank you.
Miss
Yes.
America pageant.
Thank you.
Miss Senior America.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay. Well, we're out of time, and that's been another episode of Elder Talk. I'm Jill Enders. You've been listening to Elder Talk with TuckerAllen, providing intelligent answers for those thinking about their future, with attorney CPA Joe Cordell. Sponsored by TuckerAllen, your estate and elder law advisors. For more information, visit TuckerAllen.com. Listen again next Saturday for another edition of Elder Talk with TuckerAllen. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.